Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha. And today I'm eating an extremely unhealthy meal that I'm sure a dozen people will tell me what's wrong with it and why it's going to kill me. Of lean ground beef and mixed vegetables, more specifically Asian stir fry. I'm about to switch over to broccoli when I run out of this stuff. Because as you all know, eating minimally processed foods, a whole food diet that's high in protein and vegetables is bad for you. It's way worse than a standard American diet. There'll be people letting me know in the comments, as usual, how terrible my food is. So it's like they'll tell me how terrible my training is while putting up elite numbers. And showing you guys lots of my lifters who have elite numbers too, my clients. So let's talk a little bit about that. Now, when I discuss some of these training principles, such as, again, using a barbell followed by dumbbells, people say, but Jason, you don't always do that. Some of my clients go, Coach, you don't have me do that. Or you said you like to do this or that. Make up your mind. And guess what, guys? We use different training methods sometimes. I know this is hard for some people to grasp. But a lot of times our supplemental work, we change rep ranges, we change volume, we change exercises. Yep, I know. It's hard for some people to grasp. Some people, do the same exercise in the slot with the same reps and sets for, 50 years. All right, fine. It's not what I recommend for my athletes. It's not what I recommend for you. So I'm just giving you guys strategies that work, things that I like to do and why they work well. Such as, me giving one not long ago, a while back, of saying, hey, I'd like to, and I prescribe this for clients, supersetting bodyweight dips with bodyweight pull-ups. It's great for supplemental work for hypertrophying the upper body on upper days, right? What do we mean upper day? Conjugate upper days, 5, 3, 1 pressing and benching days, right? Those are your upper days. Doesn't mean there's not going to be some overlap, right? Some of your lower body stuff hits upper body a bit. But over to the point, barbell work followed by dumbbell work. I like this when we want to push volumes up high, right? And that specifically when volumes go high. It's not something I like for lower volume training. If I have a client who we're not going to try to do, say, 10 sets for their chest in a workout, we need to just use barbell work, right? There's no need to complicate this. They're not pushing enough volume that I'm worried about overuse. Maybe we have other things going on. Like, say, some of my more novice lifters, right? We might do their 5-3-1 benching followed by 5 sets of 10 on barbell bench afterwards. Do they really need more chest work? Front delt work? Probably not. But I have people who we really want to bring the volumes up. We want to bring those volumes up. Such as maybe, one of my conjugate guys on their max effort day. Okay. I like to do oftentimes a barbell movement followed by a dumbbell movement. And we could take that a lot of directions. That doesn't just mean chest. It could be on flat bench. It could be incline bench, overhead press, rowing. I mean, you can do any of these things. Hell, you could make the argument for squatting. You can do back squats, and then you can do your next exercise, dumbbell split squats, dumbbell lunges. I mean, it doesn't carry over the same as what we're talking about with why I like it, but here's why I like it. Number one, hitting 2 different angles. And they can be the same angle, meaning you can do a flat bench on both. It still changes the angle. Okay? Changes the angle. Gives us 2 different training stimulus. All right? Number 2, dumbbells tend to be easier on overuse. It takes longer to accrue overuse with a lot of dumbbells. It just does. I'm not saying you should be using dumbbells for everything when I make that statement. What I'm saying is because of the freer movement of the dumbbells, which can be a downside for some aspects of hypertrophy, by the way. That's not automatically better. It can reduce total mechanical tension. It's not always good, but we have barbell for that. But because we have free movement, and as we get fatigued, the bar path's going to change with dumbbells. All right, every rep starts looking a little different. Our overuse accumulates slower. Number two, because we're forced to use lighter weights especially as we get fatigued on them. Again, overuse goes lower while still keeping metabolic fatigue high. So what do we get out of this when we look at this? Well, we get our heaviest tension with a barbell, right? Because almost every one of you can bench or incline more with a barbell than you can with dumbbells, right? You can. You're going to get a higher mechanical tension. It's a bigger exercise. Lets us focus on our strength work more, right? Because again, bigger movements, more strength. We can focus on the strength aspect more while still stimulating hypertrophy. Again, when you say that, people say, oh, does that mean it doesn't give as much hypertrophy? No, barbells can maximize hypertrophy just fine. Okay. But we want to take volumes up real high, we need a couple different movements. And we have to start looking at overuse more. So we can do the front half of our work with the barbell. It's going to be heavier, bigger movement, better mechanical tension, more stability. Okay, all right, it's our meat and potatoes. We follow it with a dumbbell, what do we get? A lot of times a longer range of motion, so a little more stretch, more complete potential development. Why? Because as we fatigue, different muscles take over. When you're dumbbell pressing, you're going to tuck in or out more depending upon your strongest and weakest muscle. So what does that mean? So we start approaching failure for a certain muscle. Other muscles take over easier because we have more flow in our barbell. Same thing with the rowing, right? It's going to come in or out more depending upon where we fatigue. So even if certain muscles have really been hammered, out of all these big movements, have been hammered with the barbell work, right? Our other movement muscles in the chain may end up with a little more stimulus off the dumbbells. So what's the net result? Well, we end up with just better overall hypertrophy. And it's not people saying, oh, is it isolating a muscle? Or no, it does the exact opposite. And that's the point. Like anyone who's saying, oh, I'm trying to isolate a muscle more, then don't bitch and complain when you don't gain muscle. Don't cry that you're not as big as you want to be, because that's not the best way to get big. It's the exact opposite. So when we go over to dumbbells, it's not that. People will say silly stuff. Well, you can isolate the chest or whatever, or lats more with the dumbbell. No, you can't. In fact, it's harder, which is why it's really good to use them on the back end, because again, we get more balanced development. More parts of the muscle get worked. More of the other muscles get worked a little better. So it's a combination that works really, really well to get as much muscle mass as possible. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.